Hello, friends. This is Darren Hayes of Pigskin.com. Before we take you to your favorite Sports History Network show, just want to tell you a little bit about some merch that you can pick up that represents your favorite SHN podcast. So far, there's t-shirts, coffee mugs, and even books from some of the authors that do podcasts right here on SHN. Who could buy something better than that, than have the history right from the gentleman that you hear talking about it? But we also are adding things each and every day. And where's that store, may you ask? Well, it's at SportsHistoryNetwork.com. Up at the top, there is the SHN merch button. Click on that. It'll take you right to the store, and you can be representing your favorite podcast and show the world that, hey, on the swag that I'm using, it's the headquarters of sports yesteryear, Sports History Network, and my favorite podcaster, the Sports History Network store. Shop there today. All those decisions that coaches have to make when they're under pressure and on the hot seat, and what goes through a kicker's mind when he has the big kick to make. We have some of that insight for you in a big game from 1990, where one player in particular heard
the roar of the crowd. This is a presentation from which those great moments in sports history are revived. Come listen to the roar of the crowd presented by Pigpen Sports.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes of Pigskin.com. Welcome once again to the Pig Pen, your portal to positive football history. And we are bringing our famous Roar of the Crowd series over to Pigskin Dispatch. We've been playing it on Jersey Dispatch. We're going to still play it there too, but we're going to try to bring the football content over to where it belongs on Pigskin Dispatch. And we have a great episode for you today. But before we get to that, let's make sure that you know the contact information to get a hold of us. It's pigskindispatch@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback, your likes, your dislikes, maybe some more things you want to hear of, and we'll try to oblige that. We answer each and every email personally, so make sure you do that and stay in contact with us. So let's get into our Roar of the Crowd for this September 29th. Now, it was a big event in any state when two of the top college teams meet, especially if they are rivals in the same conference. North Carolina is no exception. And when the NC State Wolfpack and the Tar Heels of UNC meet up on the gridiron, folks take notice in that state. Now, this was no exception on Saturday, September 29th, 1990, when the Pack visited Chapel Hill to battle the boys clad in Carolina blue at Kenan Stadium. State was led by second-year head coach Dick Sheridan, while Mac Brown was in his third season as the field boss in his first stint with the Heels. Remember, he came back a couple years ago. He's at North Carolina as of 2022 season. The game was a defensive battle between the two foes for much of the game, as only a few field goals were scored. With about 4 minutes left to play, NC State was up in the scoreboard 9-6. Tar Heel quarterback Todd Burnett was starting to heat up after a less than spectacular start, moving the UNC offense to the state 5-yard line with less than 2 minutes on the clock. Surprisingly, Coach Mac Brown elected to take Barnett out of the game, and with first and goal, inserted Steve Jerry, who was the normal signal caller in goal line play. With his fleet of foot, and was a great weapon in the option game. Now, Jerry gained a yard on first down. Then he threw an incomplete pass. It was third and goal on the 4-yard line, and in came Burnett back into the huddle. Burnett darn near connected with Corey Holiday at the goal line on the third down play, but the pass was tossed just a tad low, and Corey couldn't quite haul it in. Facing fourth and goal with no timeouts, Brown sent in the field goal team, and the chip shot kick was made by Clint Clotney from 21 yards out to knot the score at 9. At that time, there was not an overtime procedure in the NCAA. It did not become an NCAA rule to install one until the 1996 season. Remember, this is 1990. So, to a tie score at the end of regulation, it was a draw in the books. You know, that third number in your record. Mac may have felt the pressure as his team had lost to the Wolfpack the past 2 seasons, and this rivalry by a wide margin. Now, surely a tie would be better than not scoring and losing again, wouldn't it, for Mac Brown? You know, it could be his job. Well, NC State and their future NFL quarterback Charles Davenport got the ball back with 1:06 showing on the scoreboard, and only one timeout in their pocket. Davenport went to work, throwing an incomplete pass, followed by a 15-yard strike to Rondell Jones. The state quarterback then dinked and dunked passes of 4 yards, 5 yards, 4 yards, while battling the clock, getting the ball all the way to the Tar Heel 39-yard line, set up by another 15-yard pass to the running back. With 1 second left on the clock, they were at the 39-yard line of the Tar Heel. Then out strode kicker Damon Hartman. He'd been busy loosening up, so he wasn't aware of the distance or where his team was on the field. So he didn't really know how long the kick was he was going to have to make. Now, and he may have been the only one in the stadium that did not know it was going to be a 59-yarder that needed to be made. Then came the snap. The holder got it down, spun the laces, and foot hit ball. The kick was a low-line drive, and that cleared the outstretched UNC arms in the wave in the trenches. Hartman claimed later that he did not even see the flight of the ball, as he wanted to keep his head down so as not to pull the ball and miss the uprights. His first sight was when the stadium got real quiet. He looked up to see the ball barely clear the crossbar and the official's hands go up to signal good. That's when he heard the roar of the crowd. North Carolina State won the game 12-9 in their rivals' home stadium, and Damon Hartman heard that roar of the crowd, certainly. That kick was a school record and only 1 yard shy of an ACA best ever successful field goal. North Carolina went on to finish with a 6-4-1 record, but they failed to get an invitation to a bowl game. NC State, on the other hand, was invited to the All-American Bowl at Legion Field in Birmingham, where they defeated the number 23 in the nation Southern Miss team 31-27 in another thriller. Now, we've got this story from newspapers.com on September 30th, 1990 edition of the Charlotte Observer, an article written by Charles Chandler back then. So we hope you enjoyed this little bit of football history with our Roar of the Crowd series that we brought over to the Pigskin Dispatch. And hope you'll be ready to join us for some more great football history and sports history here at Pigpen Sports. So be sure to check out our websites, pigskinddispatch.com and jerseydispatch.com, where we have all of our podcasts, all of our favorites saved on our front page each and every day in our powerful Earl-to-Go search engine that brings us so many great memories. So till tomorrow, everybody, have a great gridiron day. That's all the football history we have today, folks. Join us back tomorrow for more of your football history. We invite you to check out our website, pigskinddispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. Pigskinddispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. Special thanks to the talents of Mike and Gene Monroe, as well as Jason Neff for letting us use their music during our podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
It was just another ordinary day in the offices of the Pittsburgh Guardian newspaper circa 1924. But for Marla Delft, assistant editor, everything was about to change. For she was about to discover the awesome attractiveness of Row 1 brand retro sports paraphernalia items thanks to Orville Mulligan, sports writer.
And there it is.
Wow, Orville, that's really the bee's knees.
Isn't it just? A poster-sized replica of the actual 1909 World Series program cover.
I can see that. But where did you get it? And where'd you get it framed?
I ordered it from the Row 1 website, where over 6,000 items of sports memorabilia from the 1880s to the 1990s are available for reproduction, in multiple sizes and in several different materials, with over a dozen styles of frame to choose from for prints like this.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Delft would love to put up more of these in the office. But I'm equally as sure they're beyond this newspaper's budget.
Not at all, my dear Marla. See for yourself. Go to sportshistorynetwork.com/row1.
sportshistorynetwork.com/row1. Oh my, these are good prices. Oh, and look at this stuff. Oklahoma-Nebraska football, college basketball art, Michael Jordan items.
And so it
retro
was that
sports
Marla Delph
advertisement
discovered the
flowers.
splendiferous magic of Row 1 sports memorabilia, arts, and prints. You can too by visiting sportshistorynetwork.com/row1. That's ROW1 today for access to the full Row 1 catalog of gallery prints and gifts like t-shirts, long-sleeve shirts, telephone cases, coffee mugs, blankets, pillows, towels, and even shower curtains. Act today for 15% discount off all prints with coupon code SHN15 and 20% off all other items with coupon code SHN20 at checkout. And keep your dial locked to the Sports History Network for the exciting chronicles of the 1920 sports world in Orville Mulligan, Sports Writer. Coming soon.